recently on Guessillsayit.
The 90s, he was still be able to have a career.
He has like a legacy and that he's trying to protect.
The Super Bowl got to do with us. We shouldn't even be watching that shit because of how they did Kaepernick.
To know like the meat and potatoes of what's going on with Jay-Z. This is a very surface level interview.
Jay-Z is a nigga and a suit.
No,
dresses like hip hop, but he fit like a colonizer.
I don't think he cares anymore. I don't think he cares. I don't think it matters to him at this point.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in the place to be. I'm your host, Eddie Mill, co-hosted Cuz the Governor. In the middle, Corn Bizzle. I can't even see y'all. We got Skills, Megan the Scholar, Ty the Man off the grid, Jammer One. Hopefully I said that right. And we had 2 special guests in the building. Please, ladies, by all means, introduce yourselves. Don't be shy.
I'm Keisha.
All
I'm
right.
Jan Francis, founder of House Riviere.
All the way from Toronto, right? Well, Canada, right?
All the way from Toronto, Canada. Shout out
What's
to
up?
Drake, Champagne
out.
Poppy.
Shout out to the North. This is a North podcast today. Shout out to the North. You know what they had a nerve at work, right? The Virginians, they told me, they said, look, after I tried to educate them on the Mason-Dixon line and you know, so forth, they still said, well, you're not part of the South. The South starts at Richmond, Virginia. I said, okay, all right, I'll give y'all that. I ain't gonna fight y'all on that. We'll be North. Maryland to be North. We cool with that. So we're gonna start the video, ladies and gents. And let me know if y'all can see it once it's posted, and we give our opinion on it. That's cool?
Yep. We gonna watch the whole video?
No, that's different key points.
Oh, okay. All right.
We'll be here till 9 o'clock, bro. I think that video is like an hour and a half or 2 hours long or so. It is Jay-Z cool. I don't like him like that. No.
All right, cool. I was a little concerned.
No disrespect, Ho. No disrespect. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a fan. I'm gonna accept it, right? Oh, he did? Okay, got on point. Got on point. We're not on point. We'll be all right.
Oh, I mean, when Jay-Z taking his dreadlocks off like it was a lace front or something.
Looking like Basia.
Yeah.
Did you fellas hear that Mickey Fax album over the weekend?
No, I didn't even know he dropped one.
Yeah. And, you know, shout out to Mickey, man, but he really should not criticize or be overly critical of nobody project for what I heard. Now, you know, I heard a little bit of it. I was not impressed, but we'll talk about that another time or later. But he should not ever be critical of nobody's album, bro. You should, oh my God. Are you ready?
Was in the forefront. It was Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Right, yeah.
Eric B. and Rakim.
Yeah.
You don't even know the DJ for half of the artists anymore. Who's Drake DJ? I have no idea. Okay.
Couldn't tell you off top.
That no longer exists. And the last pillar is battling. We love the excitement. And I love the sparring and the music you get. Mm-hmm. But in this day and age, it's so much negative stuff that comes with it that you almost wish it didn't happen.
Really?
Yeah, because it's almost like it's a final thing. Now people that like Kendrick hate Drake.
Yeah.
No matter what he makes, no matter what he says, and it goes far too. It's like attack on his character and his thing and it's like, I don't know if I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it's helpful to our growth. where the fallout lands, especially on on social media, which takes place every day.
Yeah.
And now you have these pods of cult.
The Stan armies fighting.
Yeah, and it's like, it's too far.
Yeah.
It's like bringing kids in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't like that. Maybe I've grown in a space that is probably, I sound like the old guy wagging the finger. But I think we can achieve the same thing as far as like sparring with music.
Basically, Jay-Z said that he feels like battling used to be a pillar of hip hop, which is controversial in itself. But he also said that he doesn't like how people turned on Drake, and he doesn't like how it divided their fan bases to where if you like Kendrick, you can't like Drake, and vice versa. He just thinks that we are at a point now where that would be detrimental to the culture, and he just thinks that it's not necessary to battle anymore. You know what I mean? So basically, that's what he was saying, and he thought that it was unfair that people thought that him picking Kendrick to perform at the Super Bowl was going against Drake. And he's like, no, I just picked the person who had the better year. So that's basically what he said about Drake.
Did you catch the part, Skills, when he was talking about his favorite underground artist from the Bay Area? He said if he had his way, he would pick an underground artist that he like out of the Bay. I forgot the guy's name. But however, like you said, he had to go with who had the better year, the people's champ. So we all know it's political and politics in this hip hop industry, in the industry period. It's not about your talent or who you want to hear, it's who the people, want to hear. So it's more popularity than anything. Who want to go first on this this statement that Jay-Z made? Who want to have at it first? Anybody? Don't be scared. Don't be shy. Anyone? All right, I'll put myself on the chopping block, man. Okay, all right. I'll do it. I agree with Jay-Z. Miss Skills spoke earlier. Skills, he disagrees. I agree with Jay-Z. Because I'm looking at it to Jay-Z. What I'm saying, I figure Jay-Z is looking at it from a grandfather's lens. He's 60 years old, right? So when people say, well, you made Super Ugly, talking about skeeting off on Nas's baby, baby car seats. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, that was damn near 30 years ago. So you expect a 60-year-old man who's now married with children, who's a billionaire, whose mindset is different. You expect him to have the same mindset when it comes down to battling. That battle between Kendrick and Drake was ugly. I'm gonna tell you why it was ugly. Because there was personal information that did not need to be said, that we didn't care for, right? And people lost money. People lost a lot of, a lot of money behind that, endorsements and stuff like that. It didn't turn out well for the culture. And that's what Jay-Z was saying. It's basically like a person who go to a club, right? An OG to go to a club. And he said, back in my day, 30 years ago, it wasn't like this, So y'all need to just tear the club down because y'all done took the culture out of it. What made it pure and for what it was is no longer that. So yes, abolish battling because it's not like it used to be. That's the standpoint he was coming from. And I agree with him, I think that battle was ugly. People lost a lot of money. And I think it was a personal campaign, and shout out to Canada, you know what I'm saying? You're going to agree with me on this one. It was a personal campaign to destroy Drake, because a lot of people hated him in the industry. And regardless of what you think of Drake, he put a lot of people on, like it or not. And the same people that he put on and gave them a break, the same people who turned on Drake. And I think it was more of a personal campaign against Drake than anything else. That battle was very ugly. And I agree with Jay. I mean, if hip hop got to this, then yeah, burn the house down. When it comes down to battling, you know, that's abolish it. That's my opinion.
I'm gonna piggyback off of what you're saying. I think it was bad for business, but it wasn't bad for the culture. So I partially agree with what he was saying, but battling is important. Like this is it's like engraved. It's engraved in hip hop. You know what I mean? It's all about being the best. And if somebody is stopping you from being the best, you gotta take them out. But I do agree that it's bad for business to a certain degree. And I also think that Drake is going to be all right. He's going to be all right. You know, he's doing a smart thing and taking time off. When he come back, I hope that he hit. I hope that he hit because the culture definitely need him.
Yeah.
I think hip hop needs a Drake and it needs a Kendrick. You know what I mean?
That balance, right?
Yeah, they balance it out.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been a minute since the light skinned Keith Sweat and dropped the album. I'm waiting on that. I hope the Iceman does very well. I hope it's not a loser's anthem and a revenge album. We don't want to hear that. We just want to hear good music from Drake.
I was thinking that same thing. I think that he need to get over all of his bad feelings about the battle. I mean, I know it's hard to do, but he need to put that behind him and move forward. You know, I think he'll make the best music if he do that.
And I want to see a 40-year-old Drake.
Yellow.
Froze.
Did we lose him? Oh, okay.
Also, Bruce Lee do or Rambo or nothing, but you like to watch the movie. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like you said, Juan, I missed that entertainment part of hip hop, and it been missing. And for me to be a person who loved pure hip hop and underground music, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little, and Skill's gonna chop my head off of that. Pause. You know, we're on YouTube, you can't say stuff like that. But Skill's gonna kill me. You know what I'm saying? I think it was too much of that hippity hop this year. You know what I'm saying? And not enough of that Drake type of music. You know, I like things balanced.
I gotta jump in and say that battle might have been nasty, but it was true. Everyone from Toronto knows that Drake grew up identifying as like a little Jewish kid who played someone in a wheelchair on Degrassi. At no point in time was Drake, living the street life in the ghetto or whatever he's saying in his albums. It wasn't until this kind of battle came out where Kendrick was calling him out, like, okay, you're black now, because Drake certainly didn't represent himself that way growing up in Toronto. And I feel like people from Toronto know that and would agree with me. So I think there was like, I think Kendrick had some really strong points.
Yeah, and Kendrick did warn Drake. He said, "Don't." What he said, y'all, somebody can help me out.
He said, "Don't speak on the family, Crody." He told that nigga that.
Yeah, don't speak on the family.
He warned him on that song. Don't speak on the family.
But here's the thing, though. He also, threw out claims that he has no proof or receipts on. The man called that man the P word, right? There's no proof on that. He said that he had a daughter.
There's no proof.
There's no proof on Drake having a daughter. You understand what I'm saying?
That was misinformation. That was misinformation that was leaked from Drake's people to Kendrick's people as far as him having a daughter that he doesn't claim. But as far as the claims of him being a PDF file, there's been multiple claims of that for years. You feel me? He is somebody that is known to went to girls' high school basketball games and things of that nature. He's known to be in several different DMs. Like, I'm not saying that he pursued them, but I think that's a little weird to be having direct conversations with them. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that, what is your name, Quinn? Your name is Yan or Yan? How do you?
Yan, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Yan.
Right. I'm Yan. Nice to meet you. I'm glad that you brought up the whole about how Drake used to carry himself when he was on Degrassi, when he was wheelchair Jimmy. Like, there's a whole video of him going out to eat with his co-stars, and he was making fun of how Jamaicans in Canada speak patois. But then it's like, now that you're a rapper, you wanna be a yardie out of nowhere. Like, it's just, Kendrick brought up a lot of things that people have been saying on the low for years. Like, so when people are saying that Kendrick made things up, Kendrick made a couple things up, but a lot of things he said were more true, were more accurate than false. And it's like this too. Like, as far as Jay-Z, I'm surprised that Jay-Z had this much um feeling for Drake, because he's also a person that's battled Drake before. And he called him Mrs. Drizzy. And then it's like, yes, social media added a lot of fuel to the fire, but if this was the 90s, who knows if Drake would still be able to have a career. We've seen a lot of people get their careers ended in battles, but the thing is, you know that that's the price of that. The battling is not for everybody. Everybody doesn't battle. Everybody doesn't have to battle. But if you want to portray yourself as a top MC, and in the 90s, I don't even think Drake would be in this position, because back then it was frowned upon to have a ghostwriter. You know what I'm saying? But we've seen
Yeah,
people.
but again,
Go ahead, Finn.
no, yeah, again, it goes back to what Jay-Z was saying, the house burning down, right? That was a different culture, a different set of rules, a different way how you address battling. This was basically, come on, let's keep it real. This was a bunch of social media gossip talk, and let's see how much can we embarrass one another. It wasn't really a battle. It was more
But
like,
that's not true, fam.
your baby, not yours. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on,
Fam,
man.
when Kendrick said that Baca got a weird case, why is he around? Baca Not Nice did go behind the wall for human trafficking. That is not a lie. That's not a lie, bro. Like, I'm trying to tell you, Kendrick brought up a lot of facts that if people do the research on it, or are hip to Canada, you feel me, and hip to their hip hop scene. Like, I've listened to Socrates, Cardinal Official. Like, he's speaking on real things, bro. But Jay-Z is saying we don't need to battle. I think that that's crazy. I think that there are people that are making, like, battling right now is kind of oversaturated from a professional level, but from an industry level, like, I don't see anything wrong with it. That's how a lot of people got their start, and I feel like it's not going to end. I don't think that anybody needs to get their career canceled, you feel me, or their career is over. You feel me? Like, I don't think we're ever going to see what happened, like what 50 did to Ja Rule and what LL did to Cannabis. That's not going to happen again.
Case in point.
No, it
Case in point.
depends. It depends on the artist though, and like whether you're how the strength of your platform. Like for Drake and Kendrick, probably not. But Drake versus Mickey Fats, maybe. You know, I'm the not the poke fun at Mickey Fats, but I think like with this one, what Jay-Z is kind of pointing at is that the battle rap system has changed. Like it's not the battle rap of the old days. And the change it's a new scene of battle rap that's been like mediated by platforms, and platforms love their ecosystems of, you know, conflict. They and that they erase nuance. They demand destruction, and there's only clear it like in these type of situations, you know, the fans are, you know, kind of arbitrating, and they want a clear winner, and not, you know, a lot of times on a smaller scale the stakes aren't as high, but you know, at this level it conflict, even if it doesn't need to be beef, because it feeds the algorithmic, you know, machine, it sometimes goes to levels that it shouldn't even be. You know what I mean? Because everybody trying to get clicks and leads and so on and so forth. So it's like how
Yeah, and the fans,
one was just
the
healthy,
fans,
like I'm
I'm
not
sorry,
trying to
yeah,
erase your legacy, versus now it's like, no, there has to be clear destruction. There has to be a clear loser.
And I feel like battles started, like I'm sorry, were you done?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I feel like battles were born out of struggle. I think that's the point Kendrick's making, is that it came from people who, have nothing and internalize this pain, from growing up in poverty and all the things that that come with that, having to face some like very real, very grim realities. And then this was their pain, their artistic expression was rap battling. Now Drake grew up as a Jewish child actor in one of the richest areas in Toronto, Metro City. So I think again, Kendrick's coming to that point of like, you're not like us. So that's why, I mean, I keep going back to the point that this was nasty, but it was true. And I think Kendrick was kind of sending this fuck around, find out message to Drake because Drake started getting this big ego in the industry that wasn't necessarily earned. He didn't struggle. Um, he came up through connections ultimately.
Mm.
Now, I was saying from a couple YouTube platforms, right? And the J. Cole interview, he was saying that Drake reached out to Kendrick several times to be on the first person shooter song, and Kendrick declined it. Drake was willing to put, besides the little sneak dissing, he was willing to put, animosity behind outside of the music to work with Kendrick, and I think that would have been a big deal having those three guys who are deemed the biggest artists of our era to be on one song, and Kendrick denied it. And when I hear that from J. Cole, that makes me think that Kendrick already had a plan or order to destroy Drake. Because by him denying being on first person shooter, right? Regardless of where everybody want to say that J. Cole was throwing subliminal shots with the Spider-Man memes and stuff like that. The fact that Kendrick denied being on first person shooter and then came out with the song with Future and what's the DJ name?
Metro Boomin. The song
Metro Boomin. Thank you. Yes, that was a deliberate plan and strategy to go, to plan for war against Drake to dismantle him and destroy him. So saying that in that light, again, I think Kendrick is the antagonist in this story. Kendrick planned this,
Well,
and
I
I
don't know.
just think it's diabolical, man. I really do. I
don't know if he was really trying to go, like if he really planned it out like that, because he said it's not a big three, it's just big me, and he been on that energy the whole time he been in the game. So I wouldn't say that it was diabolical. Could be, but I don't really think so. Not 100%. He always been, competitive like that. Like, I'm number one. I'm the king of New York. I'm gonna make y'all fans forget about who y'all was. Type stuff. That's what Kendrick on.
Yeah.
So,
but
I was gonna add. I also like one thing. What came to my mind with this thing is like, I guess that's Jay's perspective, but really, who benefits from this like perspective? Because like you don't really hear how to from he's speaking as like he has a dominant position, influence, and so on and so forth. So he's speaking on his perspective, but we don't hear from the fans. We don't hear from like the younger generation artists that oppose his views. And then like, yeah, battle rap can be destructive, right? But for like younger generation, younger fans, and younger talent, that battle rap can get them exposure. You know what I mean? It can get them brand recognition. So it's not all bad. Of course, for Jay-Z, he has like a legacy and that he's trying to protect. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, would it probably benefits him to downplay battle rapping in some sense, whereas another person might not say that. What y'all feel?
Yeah, I agree.
He's a businessman first, man. He's a businessman, and he's looking at it from a standpoint of business. It was bad for business because the biggest artist in the world had his worst couple years, and it hurted hip hop.
Is he thinking about the fact that hip hop is going through that thing where people saying it needs to be taken over, like say rock needs to take back over being a dominant genre? I have a feeling that could be the big issue too that he could be talking to, because he's saying that like the perception to the outside, to the rest of the world, is like as if this is the genre where all the chaos, and you know how they try to paint it, Like they're trying to paint it like this is the genre of all the chaos, and as a result of that, I guess he's trying to say that that's why certain deals are starting to go the other way. That's why we got to go with a Bad Bunny for the Super Bowl versus another hip hop act. I guess this is what I think. I think this is what he may be trying to speak to.
Yeah. I will say this one thing, and this is not really just on battle rap, but I do think, like from a hip hop's perspective, we do, and I would give Jay Z on this, is that we do have to have somewhat of seriousness when it comes to like the content that we put out hip hop because it can promote cultural and moral decay, from my opinion. So conflict like that, like especially in like the drill stuff, that probably shouldn't be promoted because you shouldn't be wanting to promote anything that, pushes killing each other and not dealing with your conflicts like adults and stuff like that. But I don't know if that's what he's getting at. I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay. I don't think battle rap or the competitive nature of hip hop is really needed anymore. There's so many artists that are gaining attention and making their own way without it. So I don't really think it's too much of a need. Too much. It does hurt business. I agree with Jay Z on that. It's not much as a need as it was a couple years ago, a couple decades ago.
Well, I disagree. I think battle rap is needed, just like the other elements of hip hop is needed. The break dancing, me and Skills spoke on this earlier, and I want Skills to elaborate on this after I finish my statement, because he had a disagreement with what Jay-Z said about the 4 elements of hip hop, right? I think break dancing is needed. I think graffiti is needed. All those elements, battling and everything. I just think how it's done is the issue. Getting back to what you said, Ty, I can't compare the Kendrick beef, the Kendrick and Drake standoff with drill music. That's a whole different culture. That's a whole different topic. You're dealing with a younger generation who's suffering from a lot of traumas and is reflecting in their music, and they're actually going out killing one another. I think the Drake situation was more ugly, where personal information was out there that we're not accustomed to in hip hop, and it was bad for business on both ends, and more on Drake's side because he lost a lot of business behind that. And this is not to a Drake pity party, because he did say things like the child is not yours. You know what I'm saying? That can mess up somebody's a bag.
He
You know what I'm
also
saying, outside of
accused
hip hop.
Kendrick of domestic violence.
Yeah, domestic violence, that'll get you right there. Like I forgot the guy's name. He's accused of hitting on his girlfriend, and he played the Marvel. Next thing you know, Marvel dropped him from the whole franchise.
Jonathan Majors.
Thank you. I'm getting old, man. My memory is terrible. I need to just, download crossword puzzles and so forth. But that's why I got you guys, you smart guys on the panel to help me out. But yeah, it's we can't compare drill. That's a whole different topic. This wasn't drill. This was 2 juggernauts that was battling at the top, and what harmed them was bad for business outside of hip hop and in the culture, because record sales went down and people lost a lot of business and contracts. A lot of people didn't want to deal with certain artists, out of the exchange, because what was said, and I'm just throwing it out there. This hypothetical. This not factual at all. Let's say somebody had a deal with Puma or something like that. Oh, you beat on your girlfriend? No, we can't have you sponsoring us. You can't represent us. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that on that note, it was ugly. But as far as comparing it to drill, that's a whole different topic, bro. That's a whole different topic, whole different culture that requires a whole different show to talk about, Skills, you was mentioning Jay-Z fallacies on the 4 pillars of hip hop.
Jay-Z is somebody who clearly, even though, you feel me, he started, his first joint was with Jazzo, right? you know what I mean, the originators in Hawaiian Sophia and all that, you feel me? But my point being is, with all due respect, yo, Jay-Z comes off a little bit out of touch with some of the things that he said. And I get it, like he's very much so far from removed from the pulse of the culture, even though he is a OG and a legend. You feel me? I never downplay him, but at the same time, he is not a forefather of this culture called hip hop. You know what I mean? And as somebody, Jay-Z represents the nation of the gods and the earth. You feel me? So with that being said, right, and with the importance of knowledge, you feel me? Why are you lying or changing history and saying that there's only four pillars of hip hop when there's five? You feel me? And the one that he left out is knowledge. You feel me? Like knowledge is very important, and at one point in time was a staple of the culture. You feel me? And arguably should still be a staple of the culture. Also, he tried to say or implied that breakdancing and graffiti are no longer relevant and are no longer in the culture. I know several rappers that still partake in graffiti, and all over in different countries, people still breakdance. I've seen Slankston, aka Slick Vic Low, Lyrical Leviathan, whichever name you prefer to call him. I've seen him breakdance at shows before. And I've seen other people breakdance at shows before too. You feel me? Just you would have to be in the community, but just because New York isn't doing that anymore, or New York wants to focus on drill music, doesn't mean that the other facets or pillars of hip hop have fell off. Just because they're not practicing it how they once did, doesn't mean that other people aren't. You feel me? But I don't understand why, or maybe it's a business thing, you feel me? Because, conscious rap doesn't really make as much money as the opposite of that, you feel me? So maybe to him, conscious rap isn't relevant. But my point being is that knowledge very much so is a pillar, and the other pillars are still very much so intact. And with all due respect, he is not DJ Kool Herc. He is not Grandmaster Flash. Africa Bambaataa got a stain on his name, but still, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, I get that you are one of the best MCs to ever live, but that's one out of five pillars, bro. You were not there when Kool Herc threw his first party, bro. So how are you out of nowhere removing pillars and saying what is in the culture and what is not in the culture? I don't understand that. I don't understand that, and I don't agree with it. And I think that it's crazy that he mentioned in the same interview that he wanted to dispel trick knowledge, but he purposely left out knowledge, and then said that battling was a pillar. Battling was not a pillar; it was a part of MCing. MCs not only used to just battle, but they would practice routines. You feel me? And eventually the routines became songs. But they would practice routines. They would go to shows. They would go to park jams. Like, it's not that rappers were just battling. The battling was a rite of passage, the same way jumping in a cipher was a rite of passage. You feel me? And just because the newer age may not take that pride in that, doesn't mean that that still doesn't happen. You feel me? So I just feel like he is a legend, but he is not necessarily a pioneer. Since he is not necessarily a pioneer, how can he add and remove shit? Like, I just don't understand it. I don't understand how he can add or remove a facet and then say what is and what is not hip hop currently, when hip hop is not just in New York City and has not just been in New York City for a very long time.
Yeah, like you said, we had a conversation. You said that the hip hop culture, when it first started in the 70s, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yes.
it was to combat gang violence. Now it's the reverse. It's like glorifying gang violence, you know?
Yes. Like I compared it basically to soul food. People were given scraps and made the best out of a terrible situation. You feel me? And you know what I mean? Like the New York had the power outage. People got their hands on a lot of equipment. So then you feel me, what Kool Herc was doing in the Bronx got spread to the other boroughs, you feel me? And people that were once trying to fight each other in gang wars, similar to like the Warriors, or if you ever seen the education of Sonny Carson, you feel me? But once hip hop started becoming a thing and the Universal Zulu Nation gets founded, you feel me? Now, people that couldn't go to other projects and other barrels, they are all partying together, and people are breakdance battling and rap battling each other instead of having rumbles. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was once a very positive thing and was an alternative to having a rumble. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, now it's the reverse because the house was burning down, like Jay said. Anybody else want to speak on this matter before we move on to whatever topics y'all want to talk about for the next 15, 20 minutes?
Sound like Jay-Z is switching out, like he's switching out the whole, like hip hop is changing to a brand new thing, and it's like he's changed a brand new definitions. Like that's why the reason that this whole new pillars are coming up, and which is a shame because I think it kind of gives it away too. The fact that the knowledge is taken out and is being switched and being swapped out for something different. So now we kind of seeing that we get this morph thing now that we don't really talk too much. We don't get too much. Like they trying to advance. We're not getting too much advancement like we used to get. So I think this is the reason for it. And I think that he's pretty much illustrating why things are the way that they are now. Like you're starting to see that a lot of the things that go into place. And then another thing about the beef now too is that it's a lot different than it was decades ago. Decades ago, you couldn't get information on people like the way you can now. So now we got the ability to really be able to dig into people, find out what their moms did at work, and all types of information. We can just throw all that up in there now. So maybe that could be what he's talking on too. But I really think that the big thing he's talking about is commercial hip-hop versus actual hip-hop. You know what I mean? So when you talk about commercial hip-hop and what that is doing, that's what Jay-Z is talking about because he's dealing with the big bucks aspect of everything. And I think that's what he's really talking about more so than what we care about.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I also don't like how Jay-Z basically, got caught in this whole cheating scandal with Beyonce. He disappears for a few years. No one hears from him or knows where he went. And all of a sudden he comes back and wants to speak on everything like a monk. Namaste. I believe in unity and oneness, and everyone's loyal to me, and nobody should have rap battles anymore. Well, I mean, who are you to speak on you know, loyalty, So I don't know if you want to speak on rap battles either, because you're speaking on loyalty, and we all know we can't trust that from you. So I don't know how much credit to give this interview.
I didn't hear the Lemonade album.
The interview was real safe. Like they didn't even ask about the Epstein files. They didn't really get too personal. I think he wanted the interview to be safe. And that's kind of boring. We really need to know like the meat and potatoes of what's going on with Jay-Z. This is a very surface level interview.
That is a billionaire. You're not going to know too much of his business. Him or Beyonce. They are intentional about that.
I get some dark energy from them.
Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, the interviewer should have asked some more detailed questions, I think.
That interview that interview would not have seen the light of day.
That's probably why he chose the interviewer he got. That's why he chose that one. You see what I mean? He knew there was so much pushback anyway.
But can you blame him in a degree? Could you blame him? He's a billionaire. He has his name is in a lot of stock, right? His brand is very crucial. He got to play it safe. He's a billionaire. That's like somebody interviewing Warren Buffett. I know that sounds boring, right? But they're not gonna pull up the dirt on Warren Buffett. And I'm sure he has some. Okay, everybody has dirt, right? But no one's going. They're gonna talk about stocks. They're gonna say, man, you need to, what's up with you driving that same car since 1975? And they're gonna play the interview safe. One, because we all know it's political. We all know if they dig that deep, they'd never do another interview again in their life anyway, right? So could you blame Jay-Z for having a clean interview? Or is it that we, or people of color, want to see blood? We want to see our heroes in a different light.
I want to hear Jay-Z's political views. I want to hear how he feels about the Trump administration. I would ask questions like that.
He probably loves Trump.
He probably does. I agree. I would think so.
That would be the last time, and that would be the last time January 1 will ever be on any social media platform.
I don't think we want blood, but we want you to keep it real, bro. Like we've been accustomed to the last couple of years of Club Shay Shay and Shannon getting everybody to tell the truth, but we want to hear something. We don't want a safe interview where the person is clearly a stan of yours and he just sitting there letting you say whatever. Like, it's basically like I know that he probably gave him a list of questions to ask and not to ask, you feel me? But it's like,
For sure.
you don't have any pushback at all. How can we have a dialogue if you're not really asking me anything? Like, you asked questions, but you didn't really ask me anything of substance, bro. Like, he didn't ask him anything that would really give him cause to pause or anything that he really had to sit back and think about. You feel
But
me?
again, his dollar, his brand is invested in so much things. Put yourself in his world for once. If he say the wrong thing or the wrong thing gets out, that's millions and millions of dollars going down the drain. And any man in this right mind, I'm sorry, y'all may call me a sellout for this. If I had Jay-Z money, I'm going to be cautious too. I'm not going to, for the pleasure of the audience of social media, I'm going to put my dirt out there. Next thing you know, I'm looking at my bank account.
But Jay-Z has put his dirt out
Your bank account
there.
is 50 million negative. Hell no.
Jay-Z told us that he shot his brother over drugs. Jay-Z been putting his dirt out there for years.
That's Jigga. We talking
No,
about
that's the same nigga, Lord.
No,
Sean Carter and Jay-Z is the same person.
We talking about
Sean Carter and Jay-Z is the same person.
We talking about Sean Carter, the billionaire. We're not talking about Jay-Z, the street hustler. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want to hit. You think? Okay, listen.
Isn't Jay-Z the same person that said you are who you were when you got here?
Right.
Yeah, but don't.
So we not supposed to hold him responsible. We was just talking about accountability. Now it's okay to not be who you say you are or stand on your words and your music.
No, listen.
Is that what we're saying?
No, what I'm saying is Jay-Z from Brooklyn is not Sean Carter, the billionaire. He has a lot more to lose. He has a lot more stock and brand. If he says the wrong thing, then that's going to cost millions of dollars. Sean Carter can say that with no regret. Sean Carter wanted you to know that so you can buy his album. Jay-Z, the billionaire, doesn't want you to know that because he wants you to look at him in the same light you would look at Warren Buffett or these other white billionaires. That's what he wants. And I think as a people, we should respect that. You know? What point is it? How's it going to benefit him to say, oh yeah, you know, me and Beyonce just had a orgy last night, you know, and we drunk somebody's blood and you know, and by the way, I shot somebody.
They probably did.
I shot somebody at Puff Party. What benefit is it?
All I'm saying is you can't have both feet. Are you a business? But he been said that, right? I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman, right? He been said that, right? Exactly. But at one point in time, which one are you, yo? Are you in the culture or are you somebody that comes from the culture and now you're using your clout and your stock in the culture to make other moves? And that's fine. I think that the nature of you're supposed to grow, yo. But at the same time, like this playing it safe shit, like I get it and I understand. He's in a different position than most people, yo. But at the end of the day, like, if you represent hip hop, those two kind of don't go together. Nas is still the same person. He might not do the things that he used to do when he was in Queensbridge, but Nas, I feel like Nas.
He's not the same person. Nas is not the same person. That Illmatic Nas, that it was written Nas, is not the cryptocurrency Nas, the one who owns a casino in New York, Nas. He knows stuff is on the line where if he talked that same way he was talking back then in the early 2000s and 90s, there's a lot of doors is going to be shut on that Nas. So he's going to be very cautious and careful what he says. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
I know we want the dirt. I know we want the drama. I know we out for blood.
We don't want the dirt. Jay-Z has given us the dirt his whole career. Jay-Z, the millionaire, is the one that wrote his autobiography. The dirt is in his autobiography.
This was such a PR interview. Even his dreadlock looks like his hair straight in the front. Like,
and I can't stand the PR Jay-Z because it's like how you dictating Jay-Z. What is in the culture and what is not in the culture, but you playing it safe. What about hip hop is safe, Lord? This is the one music genre.
I think that he's advancing hip hop and he's taking it to a different level. And just like he had to drop Rockefeller because, and we want to get to that too. That's why he had to. If you ever knows anything about Jay-Z's career, when he was a street hustler, right? He was dealing with Day Haven or whatever. Okay, he outgrew him. I can't take you with me. Everybody can't go. Then he became, Rockefeller. He had to drop Dame. Everybody can't go. If you ever notice something about his career, if you don't grow with him, he's gonna leave you where you're at. And right now he's trying to take hip hop to a whole different level where it can be respected in eras that hip hop is foreign to. And the fact that we're not able to grow with him, he's gonna leave us behind. It's as simple as that.
I don't think he cares anymore. I don't think he cares. I don't think it matters to him at this point. I think at one point, hip hop was his love. He, of course, he's always been like about his business, but now again, he's at a whole nother level. He's a billionaire. I don't think he gives a crap. I don't think the issue is with him doing the interview. I think it's with us even taking him serious in this interview at all. Like in anything of what he's saying. I'm like, I don't care what he's talking about with hip hop. To be honest, that's why I've been pretty quiet because I'm like, I don't care.
I think
He's
I
presenting
agree.
himself
I don't
as this
care
mogul.
either. He's not really a representative. I don't care either. I agree with you.
Yeah.
How is he? Panel. How is he not a representative of hip hop when he has hosted the Super Bowl? When he's about to perform now in Brooklyn, and is going to sell out $5,000.
What the Super Bowl got to do with us? We shouldn't even be watching that shit because of how they did Kaepernick. We shouldn't be watching that shit. If Kaepernick would have defended anybody else, he would still have a job right now. But because he defended us, that nigga don't have a job.
So you want
the NFL. We shouldn't be watching that shit.
So you want every person of color that plays in that sport to just drop their contract?
I didn't say we shouldn't be playing. I said we shouldn't be watching. We shouldn't be watching that.
That's just they might as well just quit now and drop their contract because the NFL and networks are based on watchability. If you don't watch these networks, they fold.
If you take the niggas out the league, they only gonna have enough to have 2 teams. If you take the brothers out the league right now, they only gonna have 2 teams. Who gonna watch the Sugar Bowl? Not me. I'm not watching that shit. Who gonna watch that shit? You take the niggas out the league.
Gonna rename them Democrat and Republican.
That ass. It's gonna be the Commanders and the Patriots, and nobody gonna watch that shit, Lord. If they take all the black people out the NFL. And here's my issue. I'm gonna let you finish, but it's my same issue with the NBA when they don't get what they want in the CBA. There's no reason for you to not get what you want in the CBA because without you, there is no league, bro. There is no league without us, bro. That's why I commend Ice Cube for going to make his own league, and that's why they started calling Kyrie crazy because during the lockout, he was saying that they should make their own league, and that's why they started calling him crazy before he shared the movie on Amazon. You feel me? Without us, there is no league. Yeah. But everybody don't make that same amount of money. So I understand the brothers that don't make Kyrie type of money that would still play. But if we said F y'all, we gonna make our own league, you know how many players there are and how it's mainly black players, but it's not a lot of black coaches and not a lot of black ownership. We need our own shit.
Okay, let's retract. So y'all saying that Jay-Z is no longer hip hop?
No, he doesn't.
No, Jay-Z is a nigga in a suit who dressed like us. Jay-Z is a nigga in a suit who dresses like hip hop, but he think like a colonizer.
Yeah,
yo, I'm sorry, I'm on one. Yo,
I agree.
Because he thinks like a colonizer because his level of thinking has advanced and elevated. And we're not willing to go there with him. So he's a colonizer.
Willing to go where with him? To the Diddy parties? Willing to go where?
Come on.
We gonna drink the blood and howl at the moon with the nigga? Like, what we supposed to do? Where are we going with him?
Howl at the moon.
Where are we going?
We talking about places that hip-hop is normally not welcome. He's opening up the floodgates.
If they don't want us, we don't want them. Fuck them. Black people control culture. We are what is cool. We the most imitated and the most hated. We don't need them. If they don't want us, we don't want them. Fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Y'all not following me. Oh my goodness. I feel like Jay-Z right now.
I'm not following Jay-Z.
Let me ask you this. If Jay-Z invited all of us to perform at the Super Bowl, would you turn it down?
He not inviting a nigga like me to rap at the Super Bowl.
Never said that. If he did,
that's like inviting Paul Mooney That's like inviting Paul Mooney to talk at the inauguration, bro. That is, I can't even answer this question, bro.
Okay, listen. When Kendrick performed, was it not controversial?
Yeah.
He had a lot of symbolism in there. He even had the Palestine, the guy running out in the field with the Palestine flag and so forth and so forth, right? The guy that he was running with the Palestine flag. Yeah. So my thing is, with Jay, he's giving y'all a platform, a bigger platform, or giving us to express ourselves to the world. Or he wouldn't have people like Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl.
About money.
There's a science. There's a science behind that.
No, it's about money. Kendrick was the big name then. Everybody was talking about. Of course, he's gonna have Kendrick there. Like that makes sense. It's not about, oh, I'm worried about the culture. Oh, I'm so woke, and even though I'm a billionaire. No, it's none of that. It's just
exactly. Niggas acting like he let Dead Prez up there. Did he let Black Star up there or Dead Prez? I don't remember nothing like that.
I can't believe y'all downplaying Jay, man. He brought out 444, and y'all expect this man to still be hustling nickels and dimes in front of the corner store with the same Range Rover, you know what I'm saying, selling bricks to the people. Come on, man, stop it. Y'all need to grow up and elevate where this man is at, or he's gonna leave hip hop like he left everyone else in the dust. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no proof that he drink blood anyway. When y'all seen Jay-Z drink blood? Ain't no proof of that. We throwing out allegations. He drink blood. His wife and his wife have orgies and they run around in doomsday mask and stop it, y'all. Stop it. I'm not gonna let y'all. It will be no Jay-Z slander. No.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows these things.
He's at a point where he's no longer relatable and he's trying to speak for the people, speak for the culture when he's not that tapped in anymore. So I think that he should just speak from and for wherever he's going to, fine for him, yo. I'm glad to see Black people doing anything positive, yo, but you can't act like you are with or act opposed to this other culture and you're not anymore. He sounds very out of touch and it's very PR, very safe. This is the one music genre where the streets and the music go hand in hand. You feel me? One influenced the other. I get that he's not on the block no more. I understand that. I respect that. It is what it is. I'm happy for him, yo. I understand how ruthless and grimy East New York was in the 90s. I understand all of that. My point being is that he is not a pioneer, bro. So how can you, and he's speaking from a very commercial standpoint, but and he's speaking as if he's speaking for all of us, and that's something he cannot do. You cannot do that. He can't do that, bro.
So who's qualified to speak for all of us? From that perspective, who's qualified?
Someone that will actually be in the mix. Someone that's actually in the mix.
I would say I agree. Kendrick can say that.
Yeah, he could, because he's actually in the mix. He's actually active. You know what I mean? Jay-Z's more on the executive level now. You know what I mean? He's up in the commercial booth, talking to the leagues. You know what I mean? Making those type of deals. He's on that side now. He's not in the game. He's not in the booth. He's not writing. He's not living that life like that. So he's talking like an ex-coach, like like when you get interviews from old players and they watching the game or something like that. Like, yeah, I remember back in the day we used to run to such and such drills, but it ain't those days anymore. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of the perspective that I'm getting from Jay-Z right now.
Back in my day, we could horse collar type. You know what I mean?
I think y'all missing my point. I think that Jay-Z is elevating the culture, and y'all not, y'all not gravitating to it. Y'all not grasping. He's elevating the culture. Y'all.
See the part of
wait, hold on. How is he elevating the culture?
Because he's putting us in positions that normally that we wouldn't be heard. For instance, Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
That's a big
Everybody
deal.
and their mother knew who Kendrick was before he did the Super Bowl.
That's not true. That's not true, That's not true.
They not like
That's not
Kendrick
true.
didn't get that Dr. Dre co-sign
That-
before he
that-
did the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but anyone would tell you that Super Bowl elevated his status, right? A lot of people did not know who Kendrick Lamar was, now know of him. Like we didn't know who Bad Bunny was, right?
But
I still don't know.
Nah, that's cat,
Yes,
bro.
we
Bad Bunny
did.
is one of the biggest artists in the world. That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Was
That is that.
no,
That's
sir.
Hey, yo,
cat.
Was
I need a
everybody
challenge
introduced?
flag, bro.
No,
I
no.
knew,
What-
yeah.
was-
episode is gonna be
I didn't
Pound
know
versus-
nothing about Bad Bunny. I'll be honest with you. Bad Bunny was introduced to a different audience at the Super Bowl. So much so that the people was like, "Yo, what is he saying out of his mouth?" Blah blah whoop the whoop, because they're foreign to his music. I don't care how big of an artist you are; certain stages elevate you, and that's the whole premise of this topic. He's elevating the culture. Where y'all thinking on a certain level, Jay-Z is 10, 20 years ahead of y'all.
Isn't this Kendrick's second time rapping at the Super Bowl? The first time he rapped with Dr. Dre and Mary J. Blige and them?
Yeah, but he
So
wasn't
this
the
is his
headliner.
second time.
He was
wasn't
not the headliner.
But
wasn't the
I'm
headliner.
saying though, this is not introducing him to a new audience if the nigga already rapped at the Super Bowl before.
What I'm saying is he wasn't the headliner. The headliner was Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Eminem, then
Okay.
Kendrick, then
But
Kendrick.
he did perform at the Super Bowl before.
Yeah, but a lot of people didn't know who the hell this 5'2" kid was, jumping up and down saying we're gonna be all right. No one cared to knew. Now that he has the platform and the stage for
What?
himself, it's
That's
elevated.
crazy.
Kendrick had a Pulitzer
That's
Prize
insane.
before that. Kendrick had a Pulitzer Prize before that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's wild.
Yo, I'm sorry, y'all. I need a minute, bro. I need to get some water, bro.
That's wild.
No one knew.
You gotta
Listen,
hop off Jay-Z, man. You gotta hop off him, man.
Oh.
I'm sticking with Jay because
Blazing.
I'm sticking with Jay. I'm sticking with Jay.
It's
I'm
hard
sticking
for,
with him.
it's
I'm
hard
sticking
for-
with him.
It's hard for me to think elevation without knowledge.
Down there going ham when you come
And
big.
he's purposely saying knowledge ain't a part of the culture no more.
Right. It's hard to put the two together to say something's elevated. We're gonna take the knowledge out and it's gonna elevate at the same time.
Educate me, enlighten me, speak plainly to me, as they say in
All right.
biblical times.
So it's like, all right, so we're gonna say we're gonna take the intelligence out, right? Let's take all the knowledge out. What are you left with? You left with a dumb genre. You know what I mean? It gets stupid.
Nothing to
Y'all
stand
gotta,
on.
y'all
Knowledge
gotta
is
put
the
that in
foundation of all
context,
things.
man. What did he meant by that? He said take all the knowledge out of the culture or hip hop.
Here's what I'm saying, bro, and this is why it is so offensive, because Jay-Z represents the nation of God's and earth, right? The first thing that they teach you, for those who do not know, one of the first things that they teach you in supreme mathematics is the number one, which is knowledge. You feel me? Knowledge being the foundation of all things, the same way that the sun is the foundation of the solar system, things of that nature. Okay? Now, why a lot of these terms that we use in hip hop, like "what up, G," you feel me? Or we don't use that right now, but people used to a lot in the 80s, early 90s, you feel me? Or the cipher, you feel me? A whole lot of terms in the b-boy stance, you feel me, comes from standing on your square. A lot of the foundation of hip hop comes from the 5% Nation, bro. So as somebody like Jay-Z, who is known to wear a 5% chain, or which is the universal flag, you feel me? It is crazy that he would say that there's four pillars of hip hop, when he knows that hip hop comes out of the culture, which is the nation of the gods and the earth. And then you say that that's knowledge is not a part of hip hop. And he didn't say that, but he omitted it, bro. And I don't know why he omitted it, but it's crazy to me that he omitted it when we all know that there are 5 pillars of hip hop.
I'm still trying to figure
So
out.
how are you elevating the culture but leaving knowledge out of it? How are we going to elevate if we don't have a knowledge base?
I'm still trying to figure out what you mean by the knowledge base. He's talking about the intelligence of hip hop.
No, like
what is he saying?
Like think back to like the KRS Ones of the world. You know what I mean? And how they would try to infuse knowledge into the mix, so that way we would get some of that while they entertaining you at the same time.
Yes. KRS
Okay,
One,
so
Big Daddy
he's saying
Kane, Rakim.
so basically saying rappers shouldn't speak on knowledge.
I'm just saying that the fact that they're omitting that, taking that out of the game, is hurting everything. You know what I mean? We're getting everything to the point that now the beefs are now going to turn into nothing but drill. You know what I mean? So you can't just have a battle. Like, see, battle wasn't something that only was in hip hop before. You always had it in music before. Like, say, drummers have battled each other, singers have battled each other. You know what I mean? That was just a part of the whole music thing anyway. But somehow, when we taking all this knowledge out and everything now, you can't even have a simple battle anymore before it turned into the streets. Now you got this crew got to run up against this one. Now this dude's mother now she's a target and she didn't even know. She just planning to go to Target. You know what I mean? So now we got all these type of things going on now. We got to bring the knowledge got to stay in the game. Look at what the young ones are doing now. It's like it's to the point now that it's not even about the rap at all. It's all about we gonna make sure I'm gonna smoke another pack of this dude. You know what I mean? That's what it's turned into. So I can see what he's trying to say, but at the same time, you can't omit the knowledge.
She's a target going to Target, double on target. Target going to Target.
Right.
All right. I guess y'all, I can't change y'all stance on Jay-Z and how he's light years ahead of his time right now. You know, I can't change y'all stance on that. You know, I beg to differ. But what any other topics panel?